78 people have drowned and hundreds are thought to be missing after a boat sank off Greece. The Coast Guard says it rescued more than 100 others, among them people from Syria and Egypt, as well as Pakistan and the Palestinian territories. The recovery effort continued throughout the night and this morning. It's feared many more people could have been trapped on the lower decks of the vessel when it capsized. It's already one of Europe's deadliest maritime disasters in recent years.
Recovering from a brush with death. Survivors of the shipwreck rest at a warehouse at the port of Kalamata in southern Greece. It's unclear how many people were on board, but according to passengers, there were hundreds. A massive search effort has been launched.
It is indeed a gigantic operation, because we are talking about a very large number of shipwrecked people. I think it's one of the most difficult and extensive in terms of the numbers that the Greek state has faced so far.
Survivors say the vessel left the Libyan port city of Tobruk, heading for Italy. The ship sank some 80 kilometers from the Greek coast near the town of Pylos. The Greek Coast Guard claims the passengers repeatedly refused an offer of help when they were spotted late Tuesday. Greece is one of the main routes into the European Union for migrants from Africa, the Middle East and Asia. The mayor of Kalamata says they are well equipped to cope with the emergency.
We are shocked, like everyone in Greece. We have taken care of everything. The site has been prepared, the toilets, the showers, anything that is needed, including clothing.
Greek President Katerina Sakalaropoulou flew to the port of Kalamata to assess the situation and to visit survivors in hospital. The United Nations says more than 70,000 refugees and migrants have arrived so far this year in Europe's frontline Mediterranean countries.
For more, we're joined by Greek journalist Antti Karasawa. Antti, nice to see you again. What is the latest in terms of the rescue and recovery?
Right. Well, the latest is that this operation, this massive operation, continues. It took place throughout the night. And in fact, a senior official I was speaking to who is involved in this said to me that it may even be extended beyond the usual 48 hours, despite the fact that finding a potential survivor as the hours continue is very, very slim. But all eyes are on this operation. So far, 104 have been recovered, all men. And the understanding is, of course, that now, from the initial reports coming out and testimonies from these survivors, that there were at least 100 women and children below deck this rickety trawler fishing vessel, but there is simply no way to reach and retrieve this vessel because it has sank to the basin of one of the Mediterranean's deepest points.
And we're told no life jackets, and in some cases, I believe smugglers lock passengers in to keep things under control. And we're talking about a lot of people below deck when it capsized.
Absolutely. And in fact, we are now slowly entering also a parallel investigation, which is to determine the causes of this harrowing accident. And one of the issues here, we understand, again, speaking to senior officials, is that some of the survivors include the smugglers themselves. So they will be probed and interrogated, and perhaps through there we may actually find out how many people were on board this rickety and extremely unsafe vessel. Authorities are officially putting the number, just keeping the figures in the hundreds. Unofficial accounts put them as high up as 700. And many of them, the women and children, as said before, were kept below deck. We understand even locked in some of these cabins.
Auntie, could the Greek authorities have prevented this tragedy? I know the Coast Guard did offer help.
Right, absolutely. That was one of the key questions I put forward to one of these senior investigators, and they said that when they first went and saw this vessel in distress, and their effort to reach out and assist it, that was rebuffed, and they feared that going ahead and forcibly assisting them would have caused more damage and an even worse tragedy. The senior official I spoke to said, in fact, that even those 104 that were recovered would not have been recovered had the authorities and the Coast Guard not kept a close caution and was not minding this vessel after it was approached. So their efforts to assist were rebuffed, but that didn't pull back the authorities from leaving the scene entirely. They kind of cautiously minded this vessel and intervened faster when the tragedy occurred.
The latest on this latest disaster in the Mediterranean from journalist Auntie Karasawa in Athens. Thank you very much.
Cheers.